I'm Nisha DeGaring.
And I'm Doug Jessup. Family Heritage Stories exist to give you ideas and examples of stories from the past to help shape the future.
It could be anything like a recipe from Grandma or a vacation location where your ancestors came from. These stories deserve to be passed down.
Before we begin, please note, this episode contains graphic descriptions and emotional accounts related to the Hiroshima bombing. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for sensitive audiences. Hi, this is Doug Jessup. Welcome to this episode of Family Heritage Stories. With me, a very special guest, Tosh Kano. So, Tosh, thank you so much for coming on today. You have probably one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard. And there's this picture here that some people may recognize, but a lot may not. And that's why we want to make sure that your story is remembered. Because if stories aren't passed down from generation to generation, they're lost. And those people are forgotten. Why is this picture important to you?
Well, this is a picture of Hiroshima before the bombing. And this is before. You could see it's all jammed with houses. And this is 12 days after the bomb was dropped. And you could see there's not many structures standing. Only the concrete steel structure is standing, but all of the other building were just blown away and burned.
And you were there.
I was inside of my mother 12 weeks along.
So tell me, those stories have obviously been passed down. What were your parents doing at that time?
Well, my father was a captain or trying to become a major in the 5th Army headquarters. When you get to be a major, they will assign you the horse to ride to the headquarters. And he was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and he just didn't fit with the Japanese society. He was kind of an outcast because he did not know the way of Japanese people. But he managed to survive and became a captain and the major.
Okay, so now I want to make sure I got this right. Okay, he was born in Honolulu. Okay, how in the world did he get back to Japan?
Well, he was a spoiled, rotten brat.
Okay.
Because my grandfather was the second richest person in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Okay.
He was a general contractor. He had a big company building 2,000 to 4,000 houses a year. And in 1939, he got a contract from the United States Navy to renovate Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor, as you know, you have to go from the Pacific Ocean to the bay in a narrow channel. 2 ships cannot pass each other. You have to wait for another one to go through, and there goes another one. So the United States Navy said, this is very inefficient. If you get attacked, we're going to be jammed. So he got a contract to widen it and deepen it. So it was such a shallow water, the aircraft carrier cannot go through. So that's how he got the contract to renovate Pearl Harbor. So when December the 7th, 1941, he just showed up to his office and he saw a rising sun dropping the bomb on Pearl Harbor, blowing up everything. And he said to himself, stupid. he knew there's no way in the hell Japan could overcome the United States mighty power. And that was the case.
What was your grandfather's name?
Toshi Shunichi, or we'll call it Toshi-ichi, means to God number one, peace is a number one. So,
And was he born in the U.S. as well, or was he born in
no,
Japan?
he was born in Japan.
Okay.
I think he left Japan when he was 16. You saw the movie with Tom Cruise about Last Samurais.
Mm-hmm.
We were Last Samurai. We fought against the emperor. We backed the shogun, and we lost. So when emperor won, since we had a high-ranking samurai clan, he took everything away from us. So that my great-great-grandfather said, it's time to leave Japan. So they left Japan in 1882 to immigrate as a plantation worker picking pineapples.
So coming back to your father, so he is in Hawaii and his grandfather basically sends him back to Japan for discipline, if you will. Okay. So what kind of occupation was your father?
You're talking about my father?
Mm-hmm.
When he went back to Japan, he had no idea how to speak Japanese or write Japanese. But his uncle took him to his side and taught him every hour of the day to teach Japanese. And by end of the year, he learned how to speak Japanese and write Japanese. And he went through high school and then went to Nippon University and got a civil engineering degree. And right after he got a civil engineering degree in 1935, the Japanese army was waiting for him at the gate and put the bayonet on his tummy and said, "Are you with us?" I mean, what else you're supposed to say?
Yeah, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So they drafted him, sent him to Manchuria.
So technically, he's an American citizen.
Well, they didn't care.
As we continue, please be aware the following segment includes graphic descriptions and deeply emotional accounts of the Hiroshima bombing. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for sensitive viewers. How close did this bomb come to your family?
800 yards.
Okay. Not 800 miles, 800 yards.
Yards. Less than a half a mile.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, how in the world did your father and your mother survive?
I have no idea. All I could tell you, there was somebody put a hand over us. I will tell you why. The house was come off the foundation when the bomb blew up with a 562 Gs of concussion force hit the house, lifted up and tumbled many times over. And it was total darkness when you could imagine the dust and all that. Inside of our house was just pitch black, even though it was 8:15 in the morning. And my mother, my sister, my elder brother was inside of the house. And my brother and my sister was just crying from top of their lungs when my mother finally woke up. When she was flying through, she saw this one of the main supporting beam was flying across and coming toward her, and apparently that hit her forehead, knocked her unconscious. She was unconscious for about 10 minutes, and she was open on the forehead. The blood was gushing through and going into her eyes and the nose. So when she woke up, she saw nothing but red and the heat. She could tell the hot heat on her skin, but the house was not burning. You have to remember when the bomb blew up, the temperature reached surface of the sun, 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And that heat had to go somewhere. It was absorbed by all of the building material, but it was not burning. But so she was feeling that hot heat absorbed in the building material. So she thought it was a burning, but it was not. And she heard the two kids crying for help. But all of a sudden, the whole house was lighted up. It's coming from the front entryway. Even though the entire city was black, pitch black. And my mother said, I know that was my grandmother came to help me, because when she was knocked out unconscious, she heard the woman's voice, Shizue, Shizue, wake up, wake up. And she finally opened her eyes because of that. And of course, she could see nothing but red. And so she went after my brothers and sisters so she could see with the light their feet are sticking above the debris. So she yanked my sister up, and she was absolutely covered in blood. Apparently her back was facing the front center. And all the debris went right through her back and just cut to pieces. And she was just bleeding like crazy. But she had this sash. The Japanese women used that to carry the babies on the back. When the bomb dropped, she was playing around with a sash sitting right next to my mother. So she used that to tie her on her back, then went after my brother, and his legs was sticking out. So picked him up, and he was just totally bleeding from his head. She was sure that his head was crushed, but so he felt his head, but he was not crushed. All superficial cut through his face and back of his head, and just blood was gushing out. And she tried to hold him in her arm, but she didn't realize she was cut right over the vein with a broken glass, and blood was squirting up 12-inch, 13-inch, and my brother didn't want to be held. So she held that arm like this and grabbed hold of him and yanked him out of the debris and tried to get out of the house. But remember the light? She could see the front entryway. So she got on her knees and hands, went to the entryway and got outside. When she got outside, she saw nothing but like this. But house was not on fire. And we were right next to the Hiroshima castle that stood there for 400 years, and it was gone.
As we continue, please be aware the following segment includes graphic descriptions and deeply emotional accounts of the Hiroshima bombing. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for sensitive viewers.
When my father got up ready to go, he was tying his boots, and the string broke. And he said, "That's strange. This never happened to me. And where's my horse?" I mean, this time it was 5 to 8. The horse is not there yet. Usually horse shows up 7:45, so he could go to the headquarters at 8 o'clock. But there's no horse to be seen. So he told my mother, "I'm going to be late. I'm going to ride a bicycle." So he got on the bike, took off. Less than a half a block away, both of his tires went flat. So he couldn't ride the bike. So he pushed the bike back, cussing and moaning. Said, "I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late." And so my mother came out and saw him throw the bicycle away. And when he did that, he told my mother, "There's something funny about today. My shoelace broke. My horse didn't show up. I just don't feel good about it. So you keep my kids inside of the house, including you. Don't send my daughter follow me to the main street. You guys stay put." So that's what she did. She kept him inside of the house, playing inside of the house. Then he took off, and he was one step outside of the railroad overpass. And just as he entered the overpass, he saw 3B-29 shiny object coming toward the city. 2 took off. 1 keep coming in. And when he saw that, he didn't think nothing of it because it's a daily event. Every single day, B-29 flew over Hiroshima and go to Nagasaki and Osaka, firebombing them, but not Hiroshima. So he thought nothing of it. So he walked through the overpass. When he went one step outside of the overpass, kaboom, the bomb blew up. So the bomb force came from the back, and he's got thrown 300 feet into a ditch. And back of his head was the only place was exposed to what they call heat death ray. It was 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But his body was in the shadow because of the overpass.
Wow.
And he survived, except his back of his head got melted. So he was a very heavy, nearsighted. And when he got blown away, he lost his glasses. He couldn't see a thing. Remember all the debris and stuff. He got out of the ditch on his hands and knees and got to the street, and he could smell something is smothering. So he put his head to see what it was. Moments before, there was 3 junior high school students going the other way toward the center. It was them. Their faces was melting. And he was absolutely shocked. And he got his composure, start to run like crazy. And when he was doing that, his uniform, summer uniform, the button fell off, the pocket fell off, the sleeves disintegrated, and his pants disintegrated. He wound up white t-shirt and white boxer shorts with a belt, with a revolver and the sword on his waist, and took off running to his headquarters. And just as he went through the gate, like I said, Lieutenant came over, Said, you helped us. Said, where's everybody? Said, we don't know. We're the only one that are alive. There was 30,000 soldiers out there doing morning exercises, and every single one of them disappeared.
How old were your siblings when this happened?
My sister was almost 4. My brother was 16 months old. And of course, my brother was so young. He passed away in October 1945 with a massive radiation sickness. But my sister, my mother, my father survived with me in
utero. Wow. Tosh, you've written a book. Why did you write this book?
Well, I wanted people to know what happened when the bomb blew up. Not too many people really realize it's easy for them to say, well, we dropped the bomb. But the detail this is not ever been told. Even the Japanese museum in Hiroshima, they had to take the pictures off because the pictures were too grotesque. When they were exposed to the 10,000 degree temperature, the skin started to burn. So they went like this to put down the fire. But every time they went like this, the whole skin slipped off. So now they got another arm hanging by the nails. The whole skin fell off. Then they touched the face because of heat, and their face stuck to their hand. So they suffer third-degree burns. And of course, they died from exposure. And a lot of people were burning. Entire body was burning, so they jumped into the river. They didn't realize river was boiling. Remember, this 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit would easily boil the water. And they went from hell to hell. And they boiled to death. And thousands of people died because of that. And when the bomb dropped, 80,000 people disappeared. 80,000. That's bigger than the Holiday City population. It just disappeared. 30,000 of them are soldiers. And by the way, it took 20 minutes to catch the entire city. I'm talking about 12 miles diameter. Caught on fire 20 minutes after the bomb. Because remember, all the heat, potential energy had been absorbed into building material, and it was an instantaneous fire. I firmly believe thousands of people survived the blast, but they were trapped in the house, can't get out. They're burned to death.
How did you, and it's kind of an obvious question, but okay, so the book goes into all these details. To me, if stories are not passed down from generation to generation, they're lost. And those people are forgotten. Same thing with stories and lessons that maybe we ought to learn. how did you hear? Because you were a little boy when well, you were actually in the womb when this happened. But how did you hear the stories?
Well, my mother talked about this every single day. She wanted, she wanted to make sure we remember every single details. And my sister used to say, enough is enough. We heard it enough. But I listened. It stuck to my head. When I lost the first wife, I married the second wife, Rita, and I told her about the story. And she was right. I had no idea. She said, we got to write a book. We got to put that material from your head to the book so that not only your kids remember what happened. I want everybody to know what happened.
I'm Doug Jessup with Family Heritage Stories in Toshihiro Kano.
Just the mention of the word genealogy to your kids, and you'll probably see a room full of sighs and eye rolls. We probably would have done the same thing when we were kids. But as we got older and lost loved ones, genealogy started to mean more. Everyone says they wish they could have just 5 more minutes with their loved one, and researching their lives through old journals and faded photos is about as close as we could get. But in our fast-paced digital world, our kids don't seem to be interested in reading and researching their family history. Isn't it time for genealogy to catch up to their speed? That's where Your Legacy Story can help. As a professional production company, we specialize in getting the entire family excited about genealogy by creating family history documentaries. Your family will love hearing Grandma and Grandpa's stories in their own voice for generations to come. Visit us today at yourlegacystory.com.